Next thing is the support for rails and joints and also light rail. Now, this is both restructuring of our existing rail and sleeper tools, and also an addition of light rail specific tools. So it is not only light rail. We used to have these tools as a light rail package. Now we make them more universal because I think joints and rails are a universal thing. Yeah, it's not only for light rail. So if you haven't seen one, this is what a joint looks like at the top, joints to rails, and this is what a distance keeper looks like. It is just like a formwork for putting light rail in place, and then it is removed after construction. So here in the new version, we start with creating rails. Now, the rail creation, unlike before, not only creates rails, but also creates an object called railways. We will come to that. But first, let's see one of the requirements. As you can see now, the rails not only create the center line of the rail, but also inside edge of the rail for additional information. And also here, I added the joints. This is a new tool added. They are all tech preview currently. And the joints are not placed only in 2D, but also placed in 3D. This is also an improvement that we haven't had in the old version. So now you can clearly see what a joint looks like. Of course, this is not only a nice look, but this is us getting closer to a digital twin-like model. And one thing that is very important is even these joints and also the rail element is now divided into parts. You see that the rails are separated as they should, not a continuous object that goes infinitely. And all these joints are cell-based definitions. The performance is very good because it uses shared cells, so it doesn't slow down the model, which is very important if you think you put these things at every 10 to 15 meters. This is always something we are mindful. And then we also have distance keepers. This is a very light rail specific tool. I don't expect many users to use it. So we just make it a 2D based tool. We didn't include the 3D, at least for this release. As it is, as I said, is not something that will probably used by general user base. Next, sleepers. Now, one difference in the sleeper tool is we used to select the geometry to place sleepers. Now, we select the railway. As I said, when you create the rails, a railway object is created just like a parent object. And the sleepers are just like joints and distance keepers. The sleepers are also placed onto that railway object. That is important because this unifies the model such that when you apply things like cant or other properties, they all match because they are all coming from the same parent. Now sleepers are created. They are again very snappy, quite fast because they should be, as you again create hundreds of these things or thousands. And long sleepers are created. Now the algorithm that creates these long sleepers and the sleepers themselves is also rewritten so that it can create the distances more accurately. After the turnouts, the distance to next sleeper is more better arranged. So there is also improvements under the hood in all of these tools, actually, not only one of them. So then I will also add one more in here just to show you how, again, the tools work quite fast. I can just drag the things that I created and then it will really quite fast in updating them. And as we unified all these calculations into a single object, you can see that when I look at a cross section where there's a cant applied, the rails and sleepers match perfectly. So because now they are all using the same set of calculations for their cant or rails per elevation calculations. So joints are also created automatically when there is a turnout. There are some key stations. So as you can see, we are not also addressing more digital twin-like models. Now here I show what I mean by Railtrack. As you can see, Railtrack is the parent object that is created with the Rail tool. It creates a Railtrack, and Railtrack object has sub-elements, left, right rail, sleeper sections, and distance keepers. And these also have sub-elements like joints, and also these lines that represents the center or inside edge of the rail. And one request that we received from users many times is they want to get the number of sleepers. So we also added that. There's a sleeper count now inside it. Of course, there's a count for joints also. They are all named. So there is more work to be done in these tools. That's why they are tech preview. There is reporting to be added, but it should still provide significant value for the users.